All right, welcome to another episode from the Chart Reader. So, I often say if you leave comments on my videos, you really could dictate what I do and what I record next. So, I am making this by request. Look, I normally don't cover stocks this often back to back, but I think there's really good learning to be had here. Okay, I'm gonna try to cover two. If I go a little too long on this one, I'll break them out. But in all sincerity, at least just I'll give you some personal things. Number one, I didn't wake up and like learn all this, right? Like I wasn't a good trader for a really long time. I lost so much money during times when I wasn't making a lot. And it's no one wakes up knowing this, all right? Like my dad, my mom, they don't do this, right? Like I put time into learning it. And even after I learned it, okay, on my mom, I didn't really absorb it until I lost money. Okay, because nothing teaches you more than the sting of losing and the sincere determination to not do it again. All right, and it's how I look. If you watch my first videos on this stock, this thing was running silly after hours like 70%, and I was very much not bullish. I kept saying the possibilities of coming down were there. I'm not going to say I was the only one. That's a complete lie for sure, but a lot of people were like giving me a lot of slack and like, calling me short this and short that. But I'm telling you, I've seen this. I've lost personal money doing this. And I don't chase the dragon anymore. I really don't. I know nothing in there are very few things that look better than this. Going from 29 to a buck 08 with zero resistances in between is something that's gonna sway your brain so much. Mine too, I'm telling you, I'm greedy, right? Like who doesn't want to go from 30 to $1 and put like five figures, six figures if you got it on it, right? I don't got six figures, I'll tell you that. But yeah, I'd put five figures here, not a silly five figures, but believe me, if the markets were there, the indicators were there, we broke this and we were ready, yeah, I'm gonna put some money in these four random letters for sure, right? However, we are so far from that. And you can't let that distract you from the realities of where we're at, okay? And in the same view, you can see a lot of the realities. We're only under the 8 and the 20 most of the time. We're for sure under the 50 almost 99% of the time. We have never broken the 100. Okay, those are four out of the five lines, and we're trying to get to the fifth. How can you think about the fifth basically up here when you're struggling with all four, right? And look, I'm not here to tell you what to do with your money. I'm barely here telling you believe in technical analysis. But if there's one thing I generally say, it's these computer generated lines, which I don't know the math for. I don't pretend to be that smart, right? But they help me set expectations that I would like. Let me just do this real quick. All right. Let's look at blank chart. There's like no value in this. Oh wait, yeah, this is this thing. Wait, what is this? How is this? This is wrong. Oh, I gotta remove this. Hold on. Why am I showing? Okay, I ruined that. That sucks. Hold on, because does this one show it? Why are you doing that to me? All right, whatever. Either way, moral of the story is there's a reason why we're using this chart readers thing. And there's a reason why I knew that, like, and when I say I knew, let me take a step, like, I don't know, right? Like, there's nothing guaranteed. If this thing was green, I would, my opinions would move, right? But I set these expectations that need to happen, and when they don't, I'm not surprised when we come down here. Someone bought at 24 and watched it come down to 14. Hopefully he or she sold well before that happened. Hopefully they sold once this didn't break, once at least this didn't hold, right? Like, so all that is my like opinion words, all right? After that, all we're going to do is talk about the technicals here, all right? And before I do that, what are we going to do? Same thing we always do. This is my little intro here, okay? We're going to look at the daily and the weekly. I don't think I'm going to look at the weekly here, and I'll tell you why shortly. We had the 5 moving average I've mentioned, these horizontal support and resistance lines that I do draw manually myself, and then when we're done up here, we'll use the MACD, RSI, and volume as our lower indicators. Hey, really quickly, if you can please like and subscribe, it does really well with the YouTube algorithms, but even if you don't, just thank you for listening to this. If you disagree with anything, for real, throw it in the comments, all right? I'm not a hater. I have no money in this. I didn't short it on the way down. That's not my game, all right? And I'm telling you, like, just if you have better opinions than mine, let me know. Otherwise, look, I'm not pretending to be perfect, but yeah, my opinions ain't that bad. I'll at least say that without trying to sound too cocky, okay? All right, where are we technically? Okay, let's actually take one last step back, but not even talking about this. Look, right now, the major markets are doing really poorly, all right? The Dow Jones, the S&P 500, and the NASDAQ all look bad, okay? And that generally means all stocks will do bad because I've said it across a bunch of videos. No individual stock, no hyped sector is better than the major markets, okay? That said, some things are gonna pop when everything drops because you know, money focuses, right? And you know, maybe we'll see that here, and I'll talk about where we sit because there's technical things that could happen here. However, there are also just, if the markets go down, things are going to go down poorly. And like, look, I know this seems like it's really low, especially when you like, again, zoom out and go to the weekly and you do things to yourself that were like, you know, this thing used to be, you know, $100, you know, to whatever like these numbers are, right? Like it used to be this high and now it's this low. I'm telling you, there are still 13 more cents it can lose, and then from there there's like 1,000 decimals it could lose before it goes to 0.0000. And I'm not implying that this thing's going all the way that low, but I'm keeping things in check. Am I lagging? Why am I lagging here? Sorry. I am though, right? Like, never ask yourself how much worse can it get, because it can get worse. It can actually get 14 cents worse. You know what I mean? So all that said, look, there are 2 moving averages right here, all right? Generally, it's hard to break 2. You see it right here, right? There's 2 that wants to break but fails, wants to break, then it takes a while before it does it. Generally, it's the same thing downward. You shouldn't lose 2 moving averages very easily. And look, it wanted to, and then it really nicely came back up and actually held both. I like that, right? One day under the 8, definitely need confirmation, but these 2 might be where it starts to bounce up, okay? I'm actually surprised that the RSI didn't keep going down. Now, bear in mind, it's been really tight for a while, and I wouldn't say it's like hard curving up. In fact, it kind of looks like it's like coming down a little bit too, but nonetheless, I care way more up here than any of these. And yeah, these 2 lines right here, the fact that they're this close can very easily give it a reason to go up, all right? Now, this 15-cent line I think is still really important, and unfortunately now I think the 16-cent line, this 8 moving average, becomes really important, right? Because we've seen it time and again. When it's under it, even if it's like really close, it's hard to break. Even with 3 greens in a row, it's hard to break, right? So just breaking this doesn't mean it's going to break the 8. It struggles with the 8. I'm glad we're over the 20 for sure, but like, do I think we've like actually broken it and captured it? Not really. You know what I mean? Like, this was pretty, and yeah, now it seems like we're above, but it kind of seems like we're losing it all really quickly, right? So again, that's the good that might happen, which again is nothing more than the technical reason that these 2 are close enough that it's hard to lose 2 at once. Maybe we'll go up. Do I think we're going to break 16? I don't know. Maybe if everything crashes and everyone piles on volume and we get something in the hundreds. How high was this one? Yeah, it needs to get in the hundreds. How high was this? Maybe 70 million will be all right, maybe. But again, we're now talking about doubling or tripling what we were at, right? So, not an easy thing to do. But yeah, we need volume to go on up. From there, look, I am not talking about this at all until we at least break the 100. All right. What we really need to do is break this 50. It's also a little like presumptuous to start talking about breaking the 100 when we're like struggling to break the 50 and consistently hold. Maybe this is also where the 50 kind of says, hey, 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 you haven't lost me yet. Let me be the one that bounces it versus making the 20 do it, right? But yeah, let's see what this 50 does before we even start talking about the 100. From there, when the 100 breaks, and when I say when, I do mean if the 100 breaks, I'm telling you, these two lines are still not guaranteed. I'm just quickly going to flash a different stock. This is one I was watching, all right? Look at this line right here. Look at the spacing. Like, it was really close to wanting to break the 50 and then go here. Bunch of red, 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 but just tried, failed, got close, not really, got really close, not really, not really, and now it's kind of going down. NVOS is kind of the same thing, right? Like, there's a lot of lines before we get to that money line, all right? So I'm not going to look at the weekly, all right? I guess we'll quickly look at it. Interesting. All right. We at least close above the 8. All right. Did we go over this day? All right. That's not bad, actually. This ain't bad a weekly. Oh, I'm glad I looked here. This weekly has me a little more excited, I guess. We close over the 8. Clearly a nasty wick, though, right? Like, that's not a good confirmation candle. I do want one more, and look at the volume that it took for this thing, right? Like, even if we do this, we're still losing about a quarter volume, right? If Friday ends around 300, that's still, right, almost more, right? Because this is 5. You're losing 2/5. Is 2/5 more than a? I don't know. I think that sounded bad. Either way, not that many people are here till the 12th minute. It's only a few of us heard that. But interesting here. But again, I still say my lines matter, right? So a good red, 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 that might bring us to this 24. But like I said, even if we get to these, there's no guarantee, right? So just trade looking at reality, not looking at what might be. You know what I mean? Don't chase the dragon. I promise you it'll do you well. So obviously we're only going to talk about one here. I'll talk about the other stocks on the next video. Hey, I appreciate your time so much.